The Oregon standoff from the beginning. Joining us tonight, Les Zaitz. He's senior investigative reporter for the Oregonian newspaper. It is great to have you with us. This is a tough, complicated story, I know. I have to say that the story is in two parts at least. One about the Bundys, who were uninvited and have been asked to leave by just about everybody, and the Hammonds, who've been persecuted by the U.S. attorney now for years, and who now are back in federal prison because what to me looks like a complete obvious outrage, a U.S. attorney ambitious for some reason to spill pain through their families. What's your take?
Well, the big discussion around the community out here is those sentences. This is a 73-year-old man and a 46-year-old son who, as you say, reported back to prison yesterday after they already served one term. Dwight Hammond had served about 3 months, and his son Stephen had served a year. They came back, went back to cattle ranching, and now they have to hang up their cowboy hats and spend the next few years in prison.
Yeah, and they have done so. They have kept their silence. It is a painful time for the Hammond family. I'm not sure that justice can be worked here, but then to have the Bundys, who, by the way, are standing up for properly the rights of ranchers, but doing it in, it seems to me, the clumsiest and most unlawful way imaginable, taking over part of the Malheur buildings there at the wildlife refuge. Nobody was there. Nobody is there now. But it's such a waste, it seems.
Well, it certainly strikes a lot of people that way. I mean, as you said, a lot of people support the idea and the issues that these militants are raising. They just don't like the method. And that includes the Hammonds. The Hammonds, you know, they wanted a cowboy up. You know, they have to be going back to prison, so they're going to do that. They're going to go to prison. They're going to do their time. You know, the Bundys wanted them to make a stand. They wanted them to sort of go into protective custody of the militants and not report to prison. And the Hammonds had no part of that.
Well, let me ask you this.
They wanted the sheriff to take the Bundys. Yes.
Yeah, the sheriff, Dave Ward. This man's he's talking like yes. His britches are just a little too big. I mean, who does he think he is? He needs to keep his mouth, it seems to me. He should follow the example of the Hammonds and cut out the provocative talk like he's going to cut off the water, the power, and whatever else. I mean, this guy is not helping. And where the heck is the community when these two men, father and son, Dwight and Steve, were sentenced for a second time? It's out in its face outrageous. The congressional delegation hasn't said a word. Neither has the two senators of Oregon.
Well, but the community has spoken, and a very powerful political interest, the Oregon Cattlemen's Association, the Oregon Farm
No, I've talked to the Oregon Cattlemen's Association. I'm talking about the men and women who are elected to protect citizens. And these ranchers are first and foremost citizens. Where in the heck have they been?
Well, you know, I can't answer that question. I haven't been talking to them. I'm out here trying to figure out what's going on the streets of Burns and out in the deserts of Oregon. I haven't got time to go chasing these political guys. They're not important to the story.
Well, they sure aren't, because they haven't been a part of it. And that's a shame for Steve and for Dwight Hammond and their family.
Well, you know, well, Lou, look, they are important because this is all about the federal government and overreach of the government, and it's their duty to respond to those issues.
Amen,
right? But it's not my job out here in the field to try and get Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley to explain themselves. That's for other folks to do.
Well, I feel better just for mentioning their names and the fact that they have, in my opinion, not performed their duty to the people of Oregon. Let's clear up one thing, though. Right now, there's no law enforcement at the scene. There is no even hint of a conflict here rising to anything else. No. The FBI is in charge, and all is quiet, correct?
That's absolutely correct. You know, the refuge is 30 miles from this town. You can drive all the way and you won't see a single patrol car or an FBI agent anywhere. In town, things are filling up. There are a lot of cars that, black SUVs and that sort of thing.
Right.
So there's a presence. But they've made no move against this. There's the power's still on, the water's still on, phone service is on. Those folks can come and go out there. There's nothing to stop them from leaving or going back out, for that matter.
After listening to the sheriff, I think we can all be thankful that in this instance the FBI has stepped in to be in charge. Les, we appreciate your reporting, and you're doing a great job. We appreciate it so much. Les Zaitz of the Oregonian.
All right, Lou, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Up next here, President Obama.